Sven will go in Fizz. They can still see him. Glimpse is being used. Sven might go down here. Kinetic field does come out. Sven does go down here. Disruptor will take out Sven.
That was the single worst DC of my life, both in timing and severity. I am so very, very sorry to both the people watching in Dota and through Twitch TV. I was at a loss at what to do. I apologize profusely. So...
Welcome back, Berkeley.
Thank you, thank you. I'm glad you've been holding down the fort.
Yes, I've done my best, so now it's up to you to take over.
Alright, so we see the... great hook shot from the Clockwork, taking out the... taking out the Drow Ranger, and we see a couple of TPs in to save him, but a self-stun from the Alk. And these guys are still hanging around. Mirana wants some more blood. Clock is sitting there, he hasn't got his hook up. Oh, he has got his hook up because he's got an Ag Scepter. Bang, straight in for the Viper, but he is out and on his own. But in comes the Visage and the Mirana arrow on the Timbersaw. Visage is going to go down, he's a little bit too deep. Mirana's just going to have to jump away and just do her best. Huge glimpse back, she is in a lot of trouble. Viper's going to keep her slowed, and we're going to see her probably go down here. She's doing her best to try and take out the Viper, but no such luck. Magnus comes in, they're just starting to trickle feed really, they're just going in one at a time. This is a bad thing here. Clockwork's hooked in, Cog to save the Magnus's life, but whether that's enough, we've got the Sven hanging around. And I think they're just going to disengage, head back, and go back to farming.
Rock it on.
So the Sven is hanging around. Let's have a look at the net worth. A lot's happened since I've been away. 24 minutes. We got a BKB up on the Sven. His Midas is hanging around. Bloodstone just gone up on the Timbersaw. So that's a little bit late, but still managing to get it up at last. Did he have a little bit of trouble in lane?
Yes, he did. It was shut down very early.
Alright, so we see smoke happening for Lost Connection, and they're gonna maybe even come across this Magnus. Drow Ranger going in Viz first, so if her smoke does pop, she's still gonna be in Viz. As we see right here, she goes in, scouts it out, glimpse back with the Magnus, and he could be in a little bit of trouble. He tries to charge up onto the high ground, doesn't work. Disruptor gets his kinetic field in, and Magnus with the dust is gonna go down. Visage Stun's trying to help out, but not quite enough of a save for the Magnus, so he's down. That's 19 kills for Life is Hard, and that puts him up to 16 kills for Lost Connection. Now, still going for this tier 1 mid. If we have a look at the XP graph, 10 grand in favour of Life is Hard, so even from that last smoke gank, which really would have helped out Lost Connection, we see a fair bit of advantage in not only XP but gold in favour of Life is Hard. If you have a look at the kills, Clockwork is doing amazing things. And just as I say that, huge miss hook. But we see a stun coming in. Stun to stun. Alchemist stuns the Sven. Sven stuns the Alchemist. Alchemist is going to go down with kinetic field over the top, trying to save his life. Disruptor couldn't do much, and now that whoa, huge arrow. Cogs get out, and Sven with his cleave and BKB, down they melt. Disruptor is doing his best to run away. Misses the hook with Clockwork. Clockwork gets sent back with Disruptor, but the Sven stun comes in, and Disruptor's going to go down to a couple of right clicks. And this is just going all against Lost Connection. Life is Hard doing amazing work.
That Mirana arrow from the Radiant side.
Maximum range.
Was very lucky. It was full range, and almost hit the Disruptor. I think that's what won them the fight there. Disruptor was taken out there, so he couldn't use his kinetic field or his static storm. His
static storm was on cooldown, so that was a great time for Life is Hard to go in, because he used it on the defensive to try and save Alchemist's life, which didn't really work.
Yeah. The Radiant will take out Roshan here.
Yep, with that medallion on Visage. Visage has got his Mecha Medallion, he's really set. Mana Boot's Mecha Medallion is all of Visage needs.
He will live and
We've got a 4-star and a Blink Dagger on the Magnus. So I was So when I DC'd, I started to absolutely rage. I was just so surprised and I had no idea how to fix it. And then just as I started to think that all hope was lost, words of the IT crowd came into my mind. The words, infamous, did you try turning it on and off again? And of course, that was all I needed to do. Quick reboot.
Bot lane.
Back in. So yeah, we see Drow doing her best. Oh, great leap from Mirana. Might save her life. In comes Clockwork for the defensive. Massive cleaves from the Sven. None of them can stand up to this. Oh my god, he is a beast. He's got Aegis as well. Ultra kill for Sven. We could see a Rampage as well. We see the stun, and Sven, Ultra kill Sven. Bam! Rampage!
GG is called.
That's GG, they're going to game 2. So that's a first win for Life is Hard. Amazing job. That's Sven. That was terrifying. Sorry guys for both on Twitch and in Dota that I came back so late within the game, but game 2 you'll be able to catch all of, and I can hopefully promise that will never ever happen again in my lifetime. But yeah, that was life. Well, you caught most of that game, Icy. What do you think was the tipping point that put Life is Hard in such a strong position?
Well, Sven was allowed to free farm for most of the game, so I think that was the turning point there.
Wow, gold per minute, 614.
Indeed. EXP is 750. Yep. See what Life Lost Connection should have done. They should have grouped up and taken out top 2 towers, while the Radiant were just farming up. I think the Dire side could have gotten away with 2 towers. That could have given them a good advantage, though.
Yeah. So guys, this was game 1. Victory goes to Life is Hard. I'm Berkeley, joining me is Icy, and we got game 2 coming up in just a second. So make sure you guys stick around whether you're watching on Twitch or on Dota. Feel free to subscribe and check out and follow me on my Twitch channel to know when any of the SDL matches will be coming up, as well as other tournaments. So on to game 2 between Life is Hard and Lost Connection here on SDL Season 1.
Dire team ban.
Hello everyone, welcome to SDL Season 1. This is Berkeley, joining me is Icy, and this is Game 2 of Life is Hard versus Lost Connection. Brazilian Dota at its best. This is an amateur league. The SDL run both pro and amateur leagues, so we have the wonderful privilege to bring Life is Hard versus Lost Connection Game 2 here on, whether you're streaming on Twitch or watching through Dota.
Radiant team
We see
ban.
the Life is Hard actually take out a great first game against Lost Connection. So the Sven hard carry, massive amounts of damage. He got his BKB, his farming rate was huge, and just left a free farm. He managed to come out of the jungle, come into the team fights, and just melt the entire team with right
Radiant
clicks.
team ban.
So on the side of Life is Hard, we see some initial bans from
Invoker. Radiant team
the
pick.
OD and the Venomancer. So Venomancer, an interesting first ban, and the OD a very standard one, because OD, especially with any mid-hero that's reliant on mana, such as the Invoker first pick for Life is Hard, he makes well life hard for any strength hero as well that requires mana. So I think that is a very safe ban for Life is Hard. We see two very strong offlane bans straight up from Lost Connection in the Bristleback and the Timbersaw.
Reserve time.
Hello everyone, this is Icy. Berkeley, what do you reckon about the Invoker pickup?
The Invoker, well, usually people tend to go a Quas Wex build now with the nerf to the Forged Spirits. So I think we should see some wonderful team fights coming out once he gets his a few spells up his sleeve and gets those levels. He is pretty farm dependent though, so if Lost Connection manage to choose a mid that's going to give him a bit of an issue, we could see the Invoker not work out to
Dire team
Life is
ban.
Hard's best hopes. But the Slark pickup, on the other hand, Slark is a very popular carry now in the I want to say current meta, but in all honesty, right now there isn't really a meta. The game is so open. There's so many different lineups that are being used that we really see so many different hero combinations, and it's really exciting right now for Dota.
Indeed it is. We see a Nyx ban. I don't think that's a viable ban though. It's mainly just a support. What do you reckon?
And Nyx, if you put him in an off lane or even in a mid situation and get him in a quick level 6, I think he can be quite viable in terms of opening it up for the carry, and squishy heroes like an Invoker and any sort of supports will just get obliterated with that invis jump on those squishy supports. But with a Moran coupled, the Nyx Vendetta coupled with a Moran ulti can really be a powerful thing, because you get the Nyx Vendetta scoping out the jungle or wherever they want to go, and then you get the rest of the team coming in Viz with the Morana ult, and coming in for a follow-up team gank. So I think it's, while it's not a standard sort of ban, I see what they're doing. Whether it'll pay off though is that's to be seen. So we see the Rubik picked up with the Morana, so probably going to run two supports. The Lost Connection ran Morana last time as a support, didn't they? Last match?
Yes, roaming support, more of a semi-carry kind of thing. Picking up boards sometimes here and there, but not much.
Right, okay, so this will be interesting. The Rubik pickup is interesting. He's going to be wanting to pick up a few of those Invoker spells, such as the EMP or the Tornadoes. That'll be nice and effective. Slark's abilities might not be that great. Pounce is okay, straight up. But the early Rubik pick is an interesting choice, I feel. With the banouts of Jakiro and SD, they're just really trying to limit the pool of effective supports for Life is Hard to choose. So without the Venomancer, without the Jakiro, and without the Shadow Demon, and the Rubik's already picked up, in terms of strong supports, what do you think we could be looking at? Maybe a Shadow Shaman, or
Dire team.
what do you think?
I'm hoping to see an Earthshaker here.
Earthshake is always a
Earthshake
lot of fun.
Very fun hero.
Oh, we see
Visage
the
picked up.
Visage. Yep, Visage picked up again for
Yep.
Shiguyo. So we saw some pretty good micro skills, and he managed to get the, being a really poor 5th position Visage, Shiguyo managed to still get the mech, the mana boots, and the medallion. So, and what's an interesting statistic in professional games, if a Visage gets a mech before the 20-minute mark, sub 20 minutes, he has an 89% win rate.
Indeed, the mech does make him fairly tanky early game, and he's already tanky with that what's it called, the
Gravekeeper's cloak. Yep.
Yep.
So we see the Sven pick up for Lost Connection, and I'm not sure if I'm a fan of heroes that or teams that they have a hero that they versed and they got obliterated by, so in response they choose that hero. So whether they're going to be as comfortable with the Sven as Life is Hard was.
See, what I've noticed is when teams get obliterated by the other team and they pick, like, say a Tiny or a Shadow Fiend on their team, and they try to use him, it's not very effective.
Yeah, and
because they're going out of their comfort zone and they're not staying with what they're comfortable with. So they're just, I don't know, I just don't see the point of picking up something that you hardly use in your combinations. Like, say you have 10 heroes and you hardly use, you don't use anything else but those, and then you try to use another combination and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, so we'll have to
know what
see
I mean?
if this Sven actually manages to be effective in this lineup. So they're probably going to run him as a carry, like Life is Hard did in match 1.
Team ban.
He was really effective there. He picked up an early Midas and really just farmed up a Storm. But the Tiny choice is interesting, considering that they're going to have a Sven farming and most likely a Rubik and Marana support. Do you think they're going to be putting a Tiny mid?
Indeed, it's definitely a Tiny mid. I don't think they'll run a Rubik or Marana mid though, but I have seen it done versus an Invoker. Not very effective though.
Yeah, and actually, in a really popular choice right now in the professional scene is an Io and Tiny choice, and so you get those relocate huge ganks with the Tiny. The relocate in Tiny avalanches, tosses, dead. It's kind of terrifying, and running those two mid would mean that we have a solo offlane Marana.
Indeed.
But whether they go for that option is
Even
another
though,
is another question.
Even though that IO was nerfed since I think 679, IO is a good pickup, but very squishy versus Slark and Visage.
Yeah,
Can go down very easy.
And that nerf that you were talking about, which is that if you cross the tether, it's no longer a stun, but now just a 100% slow. That was a pretty big deal. So a Tinker picked up. So Tinker's going to be mid. Tinker always needs to be mid. He needs those early levels. He needs that quick boots of travel. So that means we're going to see a Tiny off lane.
I think it would be 2-1-2 lanes.
Dual lanes. Okay, that's going to be interesting.
It looks like dual lanes here.
So we're going to see the Invoker. Alright. So on the side of the Radiant is Alucard, which is a call out to an anime hanging around. That's Dracula. Dracula backwards. So Alucard is running the Tinker mid. We got looks like the Marana's heading into the off lane. And that's Domi on the Marana. We have Tiny, the stand-in prize on the Tiny, and Akemi on the Rubik, and finally coming up the rear is the most likely carry Sven, and Juans is on the Sven. So for the Dire, you want to do that, IC?
Okay. Introducing the dire side. On Invoker we have Dead. On Alchemist we have Shigui has changed
30
from
seconds to
the
battle.
Visage. Interesting.
Ooh, okay.
On Pugna we have Yaki. On Slark we have Bastos. He will be making his way down there. Has scouted out the Radiant side there. Changing heroes. We have Korea on Visage there, and that's it.
We see denial of that regen rune up top. So if his carries can't have it, no one can. So Shiguyo.
Invoker has gone for a null talisman first.
Ooh, that's a greedy build, straight up. He's only got 4 tangos, and against a Tinker, if Tinker gets out a quick bottle, we could see some pretty heavy harassment coming Invoker's way.
Indeed. It looks like Tinker will go for boots level 1.
No.
Probably just for that movement speed to catch up to Invoker, but Invoker does not have a lot of movement speed level 1.
I think the
Maybe
boots
just to
choice
secure those runes.
exactly. Once he gets his bottle, those boots will really help him contest those runes and make sure that he secures them. Now, one thing that I'm really excited about is seeing a farming Pugna. So Yucky here on the Pugna, he's going to be getting all the farm, and I love seeing a farming Pugna. So we could see some really early push strats coming the way from Life is Hard. So Bastos in that solo suicide lane against a Tiny with a Sven and Rubik support. So Sven is actually in a support role right now in a tri-lane, which is, look, his stun is great, but it's so mana intensive that you gotta secure those kills when you use those few stuns that you have with that low mana pool.
Indeed, and stunning a Slark is very slippery, can just pounce away. So it's more of a 50-50 chance to getting Slark early game, maybe?
Yeah, and they're kind of banking on these early kills, because even a support Sven needs a fair bit of farm.
Indeed, he does need his boots and that drums up to do anything.
The drums do, yeah, and early drums are a great way to sort out some mana issues that many heroes have.
Indeed. Ooh, nice courier for the Dire. Bastos courier. Interesting.
That's awesome. Glowing frog. We got the cute little owl on the side of the Radiant. So we see, we see a
has scouted out.
Yeah, we see a ward put up in the ancient camp. So Tinker's been doing nothing but stacking these ancients, and he is going to be sorely disappointed when that next stack doesn't work.
The creep scores for mid are 10 to 3 for Tinker and
11 to 2 to Invoker.
11
Really
to 2.
even. Really even between these two. They're sort of going neck and neck in terms of last hits. And that's generally because Tinker's got a 50A, which is a slightly higher damage potential than the Invoker, but that Null Talisman has actually made that a little bit easier for him to last hit. So while Tinker does have that slightly higher damage, it's not by much.
All things fall. I foresee the Radiant's top tower falling shortly.
So
We
self-stun.
do see Sven and Rubik. Yep.
Almost missed, copped an arrow to the face, Shiguya, with that self-stun on the Alk, and he's copping a few tower hits. He needs to be...
It looks like the Dire want to dive this, but they have scouted out that Sven and Rubik are there.
that rotation top, because Tiny Ooh, we would say that Tiny's doing okay against the Slark, but so Slark being in a solo off lane and was actually on the receiving end of a tri lane, he's even almost with that Tiny. So he's not that far behind. So he should be a lot less, or they should have managed to secure a kill. Since they've done neither, I think that tri lane by lost connection was really just useless.
We do see an advantage to Tiny here. He's 18-4 creeped kills versus
Big
13 to
pickup.
2.
Oh, and the Alchemist is gonna go down. Sven gets first blood with that Rubik pickup, followed by the stun, and a great arrow for that initiation of that Mirana. So that was really, really well done here. Tinker using his March of the Machines to knock out Invoker for any last hit attempts. Even though Invoker's currently winning, he's actually beating the Tinker right now. Tinker's gone for a soul ring instead of a bottle.
Yep. Bottom lane Slark does take out the Tiny with the help of Alchemist with the stun and the acid spray.
Good rotation from Shiguya. After he lost his life, he's like, well, okay, well, we better make something happen here, and rotated straight down bot and got a kill on the Tiny. So good player sense from the runner of the SDL tournament. So it's going to be interesting to see. Ooh, so he's actually sticking around and hoping that this Tiny makes his presence known. I don't think that they realise that this Sven's here to support him. And the Rubik's coming in as well.
Rubik is coming in to scout out everyone. They know that Slark and Alchemist are there.
In they come, and charging up a stun. Sven is going to be stunned only for a short period of time, but we get a shackle by the Slark. Slark gets tossed, and they're just sort of going to back away, having taken off half HP for each. It's going to be a
Invoker is coming in.
Ooh, Invoker rotation. Rubik scouts him out though. Rubik's mid, and he's doing a block.
Yep.
A little bit of a block.
Very nice block.
Invoker might get caught out here. No, there's no
does
mana.
Not have a stun.
Neither does Tiny. Both very mana heavy, mana dependent heroes. Which I think having two heroes that are so mana dependent on your team is really a little bit iffy.
Indeed.
Because at this point, if you fail to kill with that the tiny avalanche, tiny toss, and the Sven stun, you don't have any more potential for a kill for a long time after
Mid
that.
lane, Invoker is taking a lot of harassment here.
Ooh, he is low. All he needs is one more zap. Tinker just needs to get in range. Do you think we're going to see an Aghanim Scepter Tinker? Or do you think we're just going to see a fast booster travel with a push strat? Because the Aghanim Scepter with the 6.80 patch means that, down goes the Tiny again. But the 6.80 patch means that an Aghanim Scepter on the Tinker increases his range with the laser and shoots out 4 rockets.
There is little it can do.
Oh, interesting. I haven't played Tinker since the new patch. Have to give it a go.
Yeah, I'm yet to see an Aghanim's Tinker done, but he's definitely a viable option at this point. So we see him taking out those Ancients. The wonderful thing about that March of the Machines is it is physical damage, meaning that those magic immune Ancients ain't got nothing. Oh, actually no, it's magical damage. Must go through BKB though.
Alchemist. Yep, Alchemist is just sitting mid, waiting for a pick off. Invoker has pushed up.
The Visage is coming in to back him up, so we could see this Visage in a little bit of... the Rubik in a little bit of trouble if he makes his presence known.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
So no surprises here. Pugner pushing out that first tower. He deals so much damage to towers early on. That Nether Blast is just Achilles' heel for any tower that's happening in his path. Ooh, and
I think it's like 4 of...
They know that Alchemist was sitting there. They knew that he was waiting. Big commitment of mana though for him. So Mechanism looks like Mechanism's almost up. The recipe's bought, and the buckler's down for Pugna. All he needs is the headdress.
Comes out and lands on Alchemist mid lane.
Defensive, whoa, defensive tornado and run for the Invoker, and amazing. Down goes the Alk. Sven's coming, still trying to hammer down, but he needs to get out of here with this Visage. He's dealing so much more damage than the Sven can deal out. Another stun,
Sven
not worth
to
it.
turn around and stun.
That was not worth it. He might have been able to get away
Did
there.
cost him his life though. Yep.
Tinker on
Sorry.
very little
I
health.
keep talking when you do.
No, that's all good.
No more.
And Slark is in a little bit of trouble. He's quite low.
Radiant's middle
He's gonna
tower
manage to get
is
out.
losing its foundation.
Stun coming in for the Alchemist, and Tiny, good TP backup from these guys.
Tower is under attack.
Boots of Travel up on the Tinker.
Oh,
So Tinker's now got a Soul Ring and Boots of Travel.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
that arrow almost hits Slark.
Invoker
Very
gets
close.
picked up, but he's got a haster and he's going to be fine. Mechanism is now up on the Pugna. Visage has picked up a smoke.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. No gale can stop the flames.
Arrow on the Invoker trying to save lives.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Rubik's going to go down here. Those Visage Familiars dishing out the damage. Slark goes really aggressive, and he is surrounded now. That was way, way too aggressive, trying to kill that Tiny and finish him off. And at this point, a Rubik for a Slark.
Extending there.
I think a Rubik for a Slark is definitely definitely worth that trade. We see the Mirana ulti being popped, and difference between the smoke and the Mirana ulti is that doesn't get popped when you go close to a hero. Oh, bad luck on the arrow there. That was a miss. Sven's trying to take out this this Visage, but that mech, huge, comes in the Pugna, and he's going to take out the Sven yet again. This support Sven just can't seem to catch a break. He is so poor right now.
Radiant's bottom
Tinker
tower
did
is
block
under attack.
Sven there. Very unlucky.
And the missed arrow on that Mirana missed out on the kill.
Radiant's bottom tower is
through these
fading
trees
fast.
And the Radiant bottom tower will go down.
And this is just really the pushing potential of a Pugna. Pugna can just hammer down towers like nobody's business, and with any sort of early push strat, Pugna is a necessity. And you can see with the Visage Familiars as well, we might even see a high ground, or at least all the outer towers pushed by maybe even the 20 to 25 minute mark. Visage being caught out. Yep, Visage being caught out, but Tiny now finds himself without mana with this EMP, but Tinker's coming in to back him up, and we still got... Oh, not quite enough for a stun on Sven's side. But in comes Slark on the back, and he's going to finish off the Tiny. He might even get the Sven here. Sven... Whoa, he still hasn't quite got enough for a stun.
Visage will finish him off.
Down he goes. Tinker should not be here.
Is learning to fear.
We got the arrow coming in for the Slark. Ooh, he's not going to go down though. He's tanky enough, and he's actually going to turn around and contest this Mirana. She backs off. Just wise move. And at this point, this Slark is starting to get pretty fed. Pugna though, he's 5.6k, so he is a rich Pugna.
Indeed.
So we see the pickup of the Staff of Wizardry for the Pugna. So what do you think he's going for now? Do you think he's going for Ags?
Dagon.
I don't know if a Dagon is a necessary pickup here, but an Aghanim Scepter with that unlimited health and mana drain, that's something to really go for. And Rubik, we get the ulti pop for Mirana. That saves Rubik's life. Oh, Sentry put down. It's just stun after stun after stun on these guys. The rockets get popped out by Tinker, but we see Slark getting in after, manages to hook the Sven. Not what he was after. He was actually after the Tinker there, and Sven is going to live. They're going to back off without losing anyone here. Pugner's pretty low. But that mech pop is going to fix that for his entire team. Such an early mech, really effective in bringing up that HP in any team fight.
Radiant's middle tower is
Impoker
under
is going
attack.
for a Orchids. Very interesting.
Silence up that Tinker or that Tiny, as well as the Mirana. That actual silence is going to be really effective in getting those ganks at least, if not the team fights as well. Rubik's managed to pick up Nether Blast, so we could see some damage being dealt
It will fall like a ripe
to the opposition's towers. Slark's getting his farm on. He's got his treads. What he's going to go for next is a mystery. We could see a BKB pickup. That'll protect from that Sven stun, that Mirana arrow, the Tiny as well.
Tinker does take out the Pugna there. The Martial Machines and the Rockets just too much.
And if you look at net worth, Slark is going to take out the Rubik yet again. And those Tornado are going to get 2. And Slark manages to also hook the Mirana. Mirana goes down. Slark is up and after this Sven. He wants him. He wants his blood. Alk pops the stun. Shiguyo has helped secure this kill of the Sven.
triple kill.
Another pop with the Tinker. And Tinker with this aggressive playstyle really can't do anything.
Radiant's middle tower is losing
Trying
its
to
foundation.
split push and hold back these pushes of the team because Pugner with his Nether Blast can just melt towers. So keeping that wave away from your own towers is going to save them a lot of damage when a Pugner rotates through.
Indeed. What do you think the Radiant should do here besides defending off? What can they do?
Ooh,
Push them away?
Tinker needs to get a little bit of speed happening. He needs to get back to base, charge up, and then rotate up and start pushing up here and get that top tier 1 tower, or at least push the wave closer to that tier 1 tower. But right now he's just sort of sitting trying to help out mid. They managed to get the Slark, which is a big kill, but if you have a look at the net worth, Tinker is the only one anywhere near the top 3 farmers for Life is Hard. So at this point, Tinker's their only hope really. Everyone else is so dirt poor, even the Mirana, who I think probably should have invested in a Hand of Midas in this match. So at this point, BKB really needs to get picked up on that Tiny, because the Tiny just needs to be able to dish out that damage and not be obliterated by the Pugna or the Invoker. And all Tiny's got right now is just treads. He hasn't even begun to work on any core items.
Indeed, very far behind the Radiant. I mean, the Dire.
And it's no surprise because Life is Hard is 10k in
Dire's
front in
top
terms of
tower
gold
is under
with
attack.
all these extra towers. They're only just over 5,000 XP ahead, but that gold
Dire's
lead with these
structures
early
are
towers
fortified.
is just so
The
good.
trees
And
with
here we go.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Tinker's finally starting to push here at
Radiant's
top
middle tower. Radiant's middle
and
tower
apply a
is
little bit of
falling.
pressure, which is what he needs to do.
Come out and land on his
Feeling
Vocal.
its mortality.
Yep, sorry.
No, that's all good. That middle tower is going to go down though, so that's tier 3 is the only one standing here in mid. So Tinker needs to go back, recharge, and then rotate here at bot, which is what he's going to do. And he needs to push these waves right away from his team's towers. Because the more he does that, the more he split pushes, the more time these guys are going to spend defending their towers here at top and bot, and then his team can focus on these team fights, while he can just sort of TP round, split push, and then with his boots of travel come in and support his team whenever he's needed.
I think those T1 towers should go down That the Tinker needs to take those two towers down. That's 403 gold, I believe.
Yeah, and that's for his entire
Or is it
team,
more
not
than
just
that?
him. It's about 200 gold a tower for his team.
I think it's 250 for everyone, and if you get the last tier, I think it's like 500, I believe.
No wonder people go for the last hit then. It's a big increase.
Indeed. It was buffed in the last patch, the 6.80.
Yeah, tower gold was
I
increased.
believe.
Okay. I must have missed that note. Damn, I was looking at the hero stuff. Gotta pay more attention, Bo. Jeez.
I foresee the Radiant's top tower.
So we see an arrow
falling
coming in,
short.
and this tier 2 top is absolutely gone. There's nothing they can do against this. Morana gets tornadoed and in pops Slark with his invis, but he's got a lot of area damage. The mech gets popped and heals Slark and all the others right back up. This ward put a little bit too far out, so it's going to get taken down nice and quickly. Pugner's actually going to go down. Yep, the toss with Tiny. Good stun with Sven, but Tiny's going to go down. That was a lot of burst damage. And there's going to be a self-stun with Shiguio. Not much can be used of that though, so he's going to be fine. We see a Tinker TPing in. He's still trying to push out these lanes, but there's not a lot that he can do. We see a Blink Dagger pick up on the Alchemist, so his stuns are going to be a lot easier to land now. Slark is hanging around. He wants blood, as Slark always does. He's got his ultimate orb, so he's on his way to Skadi.
Alchemist has picked up the Blink Dagger. Interesting.
Yeah, we see a Necrobook pick up on the Pugna, so that's going to really help break this this high ground here for Life is Hard. And really at this point, Tinker just needs to be all over the map all the time, which is what he's aiming to do right now. So he's going to TP back, does what a Tinker does best. He might even be able to help. I was going to say the Mirana, but this Blink in, she is in so much trouble. Sven, huge stun, saves his teammate's life. Massive arrow by the Mirana right before she gets out. Good. Nice plays on Lost Connection. Tinker, in he comes with a Blink Dagger of his own. He's going to deal some damage to clear this creep wave. Invis Invoker with his increased movement speed hanging around. That was a nice little buff for the Invoker. The fact that he can now move pretty quickly and doesn't have to waddle. Once he goes Invis.
Regeneration.
Morano and Rubik heading down mid, and looks like they want this Slark. Not going to find him though. Bad luck on that arrow.
Slark has almost completed his Eye of Skadi. Not too far off there.
And this Pugna still really rich. Pugna he's almost towards his level 3 Necromicon, and that's going to be hell for Morana's ult, because all he has to do is pop it and then he gets true sight. So Invoker's going to try and solo this Tiny. He managed with his Orchid, gets silenced, so there's not a lot the Tiny can do except for run. But we did just no
Radiant's
damage.
bottom tower has fallen.
No damage output for that Invoker. Meanwhile, bottom tower taken out, tier 2 done, and they are fresh out of towers. Lost connection. They've only got high ground left. So we're just going to probably see a little bit of farming on Life is Hard's side. They're going to farm up at least the Slark Skadi is done, and then we're going to see a level 3 Necrobook picked up from Pugna, and that's when they're going to start and push high ground.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And level 3 Necromicon recipe's already up, so they're just going to get this rush. And after this rush,
the earth seems
just going to push up onto high ground with the Aegis on most likely Slark. What do you think that the Radiant can do at this point? They're smoking up, and they were going to go out and contest, but at this point,
the cursed monster has earned a
I
moment's
don't
rest.
think that the Radiant can do anything now. The Dire side are just too far ahead. Help it out here.
Mirana just melts, and at this point they need to get out. Tiny's out of mana, he's got nothing. Tiny's going to go down as well. And at this point, they're going to break out high ground, take out a tower.
This is the end.
Yep, I think this is going to be the GG push right here.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Goes Sven's doing what he can, but that tornado's just going to keep him around, and Slark is going to just take him out.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's a bit of a mess up with the Hounds of Slark. Slark doesn't even care, he's just running in. He'll take on the Tinker any day. Pops the Aegis. There we go, arrow popped by Mirana. She just hasn't got the damage to actually outdeal. Tinker buys back. But all the while, these are being focused. The tower, mid-tower.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Where's that damage? Where's... You need to see a little bit more damage coming out the way of Pugna. Tinker blinks in to try and take out this Invoker, and he gets the Dagon, but Invoker with that mech pop from Pugna isn't going to go down, and Tinker pays with his life there for that greedy little jump in. A huge toss from Tiny, manages to pull back this Pugna. Pugna's going to go down, but in comes Slark, and Slark is going to clean up here. Mirana ult gets popped, so they might not find anyone. Got a charge coming out on the out, but he's just going to self-stun. Tiny went on the Visage, but he can't take him down. He needs to back out. Down goes the Rubik with that huge soul assumption.
Yep. I think the Life is Hard were too overconfident, and they just dived and tried to get kills when they should have just taken out the barracks.
Yeah, Slark is, he's ultra greedy here, but he's fine. He just pounces into the trees, he's going to regen. They need to take out this Rax.
That arrow was very close to hitting Alchemist. It just missed and hit a Familiar.
Now there was a lot of kills. Yeah, there was a lot of kills going the way of Life is Hard, but they only took out the tower and didn't do any damage to either barracks. So that actually could have been a lot worse for Lost Connection, and they were pretty lucky there with that push.
Yeah, I just don't see why Life is Hard. They just overcommitted. They shouldn't have. Even though they've won, I've seen teams come back from this.
It's very rare, and this Slark is terrifying right now because he's just taking on the entire team. There's nothing that can be done. Down goes the Tiny with that massive soul assumption, and another self-stun from Shiguya. A little bit embarrassing on his behalf, but that's alright. Slark's got the pounce, he dodges those. Oh, and up comes the...
Slark will go down.
Yeah, Slark's actually going to go down to a two-man fight-off between with the Tinker and the Sven. But top lane's coming right in with this Invoker hot on their heels. It's a big wave of creeps to deal a fair bit of damage to this top tier 2, tier 3 tower.
Spoil that shot.
Alchemist was just sitting on the hill here. Up there. It just looked funny when he was he was in the ultimate form and just standing there.
We see Pugna coming in at bot trying to deal some damage to this tower, but he's actually going to go down here with a well-timed arrow and Sven stun, so good job with the defense for Lost Connection. We might even see a little bit of XP and gold start to teeter out. Not so much yet, still well in favor of Life is Hard. These guys are focusing the melee racks, so if they don't get this racks, this push, that's just going to regen straight back up. Out comes the rockets from the Tinker. Mirana so close to being dead, manages to survive, and down goes the Alk as well. This Sven is actually starting to get a little bit of farm. Yeah, oh, gem picked up, nice. Who's picked up that gem? So we see Tiny. Tiny's got it. And I think that's going to be a little bit...
Tiny is working towards his Ags.
That's going to be a little bit inconvenient for the Invoker, but it looks like, yep, the Rubik's going to be holding onto it. So Slark wants to go in with his Guardian, and he's working on a Basher right now. probably to build into an Abyssal Blade later if the game manages to go on that long. So Mirana ult is popped for Rivik to be invis, and we might see them going on the... Nah, not going to go on the Visage with that Pugna there.
Stark is 40 gold off getting that basher there.
And with those stuns coupled with his right-click capabilities, I think that's going to be... He can already almost take on the entire team. Good invis, managed to dodge that stun from Sven. Lucky, now that that stun is actually able to be dodged. The new update. Oh, and this Sven, he's in a lot of trouble. He's getting a lot of burst damage, but he might even survive this. A couple of right-clicks coming his way. He's doing his best to increase his armor and run away. And he's going to actually live to die another day. But this melee Rax having a lot of damage being dealt. It's probably going to go down here while they go back, while Lost Connection go back to lick their wounds.
Middle barracks are under attack. Radiant's
Mirana almost goes down because she hit an arrow on one of the necro creeps. Very closely going down there.
Pugna pops the mech and they secure that second round of Rax. So that's all Rax down here at mid. And they're just going to be able to rotate round. Down goes Sven. He tries to man fight the Slark, and that is not a good idea when you're a support Sven. At this point, they should be, now that there are creeps in the base, they should rotate round and do a little bit more damage using Pugna's Nether Blast to these towers. And that seems exactly what they're going to be doing.
Radiant's middle tower is losing its founding.
They're still trying to fight them at the base. Oh man, this is bad.
Slark is just invis here.
Yep.
He needs to get out. These guys are playing super greedy. Want to get these extra kills.
Yet stand. Dire's bottom tower hopes for aid.
Nice arrow from the Mirana's going to take out the Invoker, and down goes the Visage as well. In comes Alk with the stun. He's going to try and help this Slark. Slark's going to clean up here. Sven's doing his best to team fight, but to man fight him, but that basher, that's going to really ruin his day. We see a blink out from the Tinker, another blink out, the TP back to base. Oh, so lucky. He was almost in a lot of trouble there. And the GG's called. That's game 2, going to Life is Hard. And that's a best of 3-1, 2 games straight by Life is Hard. Great play from these guys. So congratulations going to